Welcome to A Minute for God, Mother's Day edition.
As we look at a mother's impact in the second book of Timothy, chapter 1, verse 5, we can see that while Eunice and Lois didn't have any VeggieTale DVDs to use, the mother and grandmother still created a spiritual environment where little Tim could flourish. Then one day a preacher named Paul came to their town of Lystra and spoke about a man named Jesus. And both Lois and Eunice listened intently. Mom and Grandma saw in Jesus the fulfillment of all the promises in the Old Testament and placed their trust in him and were converted. Then these new believers in turn focused on teaching Timothy all about who Jesus was. We know from reading the book of Acts that Paul himself took a personal interest in Timothy, the teenager, and, partnering with his mother and grandmother, led him to a saving faith. Later, Paul and Timothy partnered together in ministry as the gospel continues to spread throughout the area. Many years later, while Paul is in prison, he writes 2 letters to young Timothy. These letters contain some teaching about how Timothy should behave as a church leader and are also filled with some reminiscing and nostalgia on Paul's part. As Paul writes these letters that we know as the first book of Timothy and the second book of Timothy, he reflects on the mothers who made an impact in Tim's life. And the same mother's impact that the Apostle Paul writes about back then can still make that same impact today.